Chad Tomaschefski here with TSI Today. We're about to dive in with Jay Prosper on technology behind the scenes. On TSI Today, let's get into it. We're talking about the tech changing your business. I'm Chad, and this is TSI Today. Good day, everyone, and welcome back to TSI Today, where we take a dive into technologies that affect our lives every day. We've had a bit of a hiatus. Our friends at Enta moved into a beautiful new studio that you're seeing here. There's a great red brick wall in the back, and I've got a very special guest, somebody I've had the privilege of working with in the past, Mr. Jay Prosper. Jay, thanks for joining me today.
How are you doing, Chad? Thanks
doing
for
really well.
me.
Hey, let's dive right into this. Your journey in technology hasn't always been with CommScope, but it's always been in technology. Can you talk a little bit about how you've gotten to where you are today?
Yeah, wow, it's probably about 20 plus years now as we get older, but it's always been in the industry, technology, and seeing the progression, seeing how it evolved over the last 20 years. It's truly phenomenal at a fast pace. Personally, I grew up in the industry, started on the manufacturing side, was privileged enough to go on the distribution side, and now back to the manufacturing side. Again, the excitement is all the innovation, everything that's behind the wall, making the network run. For the everyday person, you know, they don't truly understand what goes behind it. But for us, it's been quite interesting to see the growth. So
that's awesome. Well, I got 10 years on you. I've been doing this for 30 now, so I realized that here the other day.
I said 20 plus.
So, you know, some of the technologies that CommScope is famous for is cabling. I think back to when I started, and I'm dating myself definitely here a little, we had the IBM Type 1 cable, a monster to terminate. We've seen that kind of grow into Cat 3, Cat 4 lasted about a minute, Cat 5, 5E, 6, 6A. Most of the specs we see that come out today are Cat 6 and Cat 6A. You and I know what the differences are, but for our viewers, can you help us understand the true differences between the two and what they could expect to see on their network?
Yeah, I mean, the difference really, it's bandwidth, right? It's, you know, it's Cat 6 is, you know, 1 gig and Cat 6A is 10 gig. And the interesting thing is, though, is it's not 10 times the cost, right? It is 10 times the bandwidth, but it's not 10 times the cost. Now, that said, I would say today, the majority of installs are Cat 6, but you do see a shift towards Cat 6A. And in Canada, I'd probably say in a couple of years, we'll probably have as much footage in Cat 6A being installed as in Cat 6. That's not the case today, but it's definitely around the corner.
Yeah, I would suggest that the vast majority of the specs we're seeing today are coming out of 6A.
Correct.
I mean, there was a day where 6A was just kind of your backbone, right?
Correct.
But everything, the thing in the backbone is fiber, and we'll get into that in a second.
Correct.
But you know, now we're seeing 6A to desktop.
Correct. And the reason is, you know, Chad, it's the PoE factor, right? Today you could do a full 90 watt on 6A, and with the ability to power devices right on that 4-pair cable, that is really what's driving the difference between 6 and 6A.
And that's going to get into some edge computing. We're going to talk to you a little bit about edge computing at a round table. UTP, FUTP. So for our viewers, what's the big difference to that? Where would you use a shielded cable versus a non-shielded cable?
Generally speaking, shielded cable, especially in our environment here, would probably be mostly found in industrial type of applications. You know, because of the EMI and all that noise, right? But make no mistake about it, shielded cable does require some type of specialty as far as labor versus a UTP, right? Unshielded. But that's where usually you would find shielded cable. Again, something that Cat 6A provides, but we do see more and more demand for shielded cable, I would say, but mostly in the industrial manufacturing type side of the business.
Now, CommScope, of course, is very well known for the copper side of the game, but you're a substantial player in the fiber optics market as well.
Absolutely.
So, you know, think back, you know, some of the fiber offerings that we had. I remember, you know, OS1, OM1, all those.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see a whole lot of that anymore, but
No.
CommScope was a bit of a pioneer on OM5. Where are we seeing OM5 used, and what's the difference between that and like OM3, OM4?
Yeah, OM3, 300 gig, OM4 is 400 gig, OM5, that's when you get into the SWDM. But essentially, the difference is between what would be an enterprise install versus a data center install, right? So when we look at the difference between single mode and multi-mode, it really comes down to what you're trying to achieve, right? And I think for the general public, understanding that OM5 is really what the next generation of fiber install is going to be, but mostly in the data center space, right? Where you're dealing with shorter distances and not necessarily needing to install single mode everywhere.
Okay, so talking to data centers, you have an array of solutions that are super high density specifically for data centers.
Correct.
That's awesome. And then, so are we seeing more of your OM5 solution in the market today?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're seeing it more because there's more demand.
Okay.
There's more demand. The applications require more demand, and really, I would say what's driving is future proofing.
Right. And of course, we have our single mode fiber. That's the old dog in the market that's been around forever.
Correct.
Just keeps on ticking. We can't seem to figure out how to beat it.
Chad, you said it best. Just keeps on ticking. Keeps on ticking. I think the only challenge for single mode is the cost of some of the electronics. But yeah, single mode continues to be a viable solution and just keeps on ticking. You said that is the best way to say it.
So for long haul offerings, we talked about single mode, and you did mention that they are used in data centers, and we have seen them used in data centers. But for the most part, the bulk of your single mode solution, would that be to carriers or industrial plants where you're doing long haul with it then, or municipalities even?
Correct, or campus environment.
Okay.
Campus environment. Even on the enterprise side of the business, most campus environment will have some type of single mode install, maybe perhaps on the backbone or fiber ring, what we'll call a fiber ring. So,
and if we have clients that are utilizing fiber and they want to have that edge device out there, is there a product offering that CommScope has come to market with that?
We do. We have a great product called Powered Fiber. And this is a niche product where you're trying to power something trying to power a device at a certain distance where there's not necessarily power. We've seen applications where you need to bring a camera, you need to bring an access point to a gate somewhere, to a part of the field somewhere. So this is where we have a solution called Powered Fiber, which has great success, quite a few installs in Canada. And essentially what it is a hybrid cable where you have two copper conductors that is able to bring your power to the device, and then we transmit the data on the fiber itself that is all bonded together. So
what's the distance limitation on that?
It depends on the application, depends what you're trying to do, but you could go up to 3 kilometers.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
So if we think for a second, municipality, we have those traffic lights everywhere. We could utilize that.
Correct.
Going back 3 kilometers to a common junction.
Correct.
That's amazing.
Correct. It is amazing. It is amazing. It's got some neat applications to it. We have some great success with it, and it is one of those products where it's a problem-solving product.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about copper and a little bit about fiber offerings, but how important is connectivity?
Connectivity is it's probably the most important. We have this analogy saying, imagine you have a sports car with Flintstone tires, and connectivity, brings it together. No one would want that, right? And on the fiber side, it's important to have, a breadth and depth of product from, field installable polished connectors. And on the copper side, it's really about making sure you have the entire solution, same category, same solutions, even to a certain extent, same manufacturer, right? So connectivity is the piece that brings it all together.
Awesome. Jay, I'd like to unpack 2 more things. One of my very favorite technologies is something I'm fond of, is G-PON. You guys have a fantastic G-PON offering, but one of the things I've noticed in the market is it got a lot of hype in the beginning and it seems to have just fallen off.
Correct.
Are you feeling the same way on your side? Is there anything that we can do to really shine a light on G-PON? Because in my opinion, I believe this is the technology of the future.
There is still a great use for G-PON, but you're right. It is something we're talking about less and less. And in our market, they'll probably talk about more about E-PON, which is Ethernet, PON. And I think the challenge becomes when you talk about G-PON or E-PON, it's about, because you have to split the signal, right? And these applications are demanding more and more, whether you're running Teams or YouTube or whatever it is. So I think, there is a space, there is a demand, there is a need for PON technology, but you're right, it is less and less being asked.
Awesome. So if you're interested in learning any more about the CommScope offerings, you can take that to CommScope.com. Learn more about that powered fiber, slick solution, G-PON, and of course, they've got all those trusty copper offerings and fiber offerings they've always had there. Jay, one of the last questions I'd like to ask all my guests is, how do we get more young people involved? You and I started as young men in this industry. We've matured in this. I like what you said before. We've both kind of grown up in it. How do we entice more young people to get in this? What journey can they take to get into it?
That's a great question, Chad. I would say that, obviously we have to do a better job. I think as call it, seasoned veterans in this business, we have to do a better job to talk more about it. But I would say, CommScope, we have a great program. It's called an internship program where, please go on our website and visit the careers section. And we want to start them young. Whether it's an internship, whether it's hiring them young, we definitely understand that there's a need in the market. And the reality is too is, a lot of folks in our industry are starting to look at, what's next for them. There's a turnover happening in the industry, and at CommScope we do recognize the need to get younger, I would say, and I think our programs in our career section will definitely show the need for different opportunities within the company.
Jay, if anybody wants to get a hold of you after seeing this video, how would they do that?
If anybody wants to get a hold of me, I think the best way to do is to go on our website, and then you'll have your sections where, contact us, and then just put your name there, your contact information. It'll get to me, and then we'll definitely make sure we circle back with you.
Awesome. Jay, thanks so much for joining me today. We'll head over to the round table here in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
And take it from there.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching TSI Today. Catch up with us next time when we learn more about technology changing business today.